Hard take 2. The Hell Domain disappeared. Suzaku's body grew unstable as she found it difficult to stand. There's an uncontrollable sense of panic gripping the Phoenix Lady's face. If the Hell Domain disappeared, then where did Mistress and the king go? You are lying. Little Rice roared and runs up to Mo Li Shang's presence and grabbed at his collar. Mo Li Shang, you are a despicable liar. You think your story can deceive us. If the Hell Domain disappeared, then why wouldn't the king and mistress come back to us? An entire domain's destruction? That's something so big that the 4 sacred beasts couldn't even begin to fathom or imagine. Mo Li Shang didn't rebuke the insult. Instead, he lowered his eyes with sadness. He knew this would happen if he had spoken the truth. Not only that, the entire demon realm too would fall into shock for the next while, making the situation even more unstable. I saw it with my own eyes. The darkness swallowed the entire hell realm and no longer exists. That's why Yin Yin entrusted me with bringing back the divine Waterstone. She wanted to make sure her daughter is safe by suppressing the flame inside her body. His words were piercing, causing the white tiger to freeze into a statue. Did they really disappear? Little Rice's grip around the guy's collar fell apart as he trembled from the terrible news. He didn't want to believe, but found no other excuse to say otherwise. You liar. You must be lying to me. You're a big liar. Little Rice. Xing Yi's complexion wasn't so good either, but she had more fortitude to withstand this shocking blow. First running up to give the poor tiger a hug so he would calm down. Are you sure the Hell Domain disappeared? Then Mistress and the king. They're still alive. I can feel it, they're still alive. Mo Li Shang smiled. Yin Yin wouldn't die so easily. She will definitely come back. It was his belief in her that convinced him to leave that day. Otherwise, he too would have stayed and refused to leave. You get lost. Black Turtle snorted coldly and wanted to punch the guy even more right now. In the future, you are not allowed to take one step into the demon realm. Otherwise, I will kill you before the day Mistress returns. He won't forgive this guy, not ever. The only reason Black Turtle's forestalling his revenge was for Bai Yan's sake. Aside from that, he would have torn the guy to shreds 1,000,000 times over. Moments later, Mo Li Shang finally disappeared into the horizon. Princess Suzaku quickly rushed up to Di Ling Yin and hugged the baby tightly to make sure nothing's wrong with her. That guy's a good person. You mustn't approach him again in the future. Do you understand? Why? Di Ling Yin gently purses her lips and didn't understand the reason. Isn't he a friend of Mother? If he is, there might be a misunderstanding between him and Black Turtle. Hard take 3. Suzaku gritted her teeth in hatred. Black Turtle has seen it with his own eyes. What misunderstanding can there be? He can betray us once. He can betray us twice. Princess, you are Mistress's daughter. Nothing can happen to you, so please keep your distance from him. I will listen to Suzaku, and I won't mention him again in the future. Though, in her heart, she always felt that there was something wrong with the events of that year. Those clean and pure eyes couldn't be from someone that's evil. That much the pipsqueak was certain. But feelings are feelings after all. Even if she thinks that Mo Li Shang wasn't a bad person, it doesn't compare to her bond with the 4 sacred beasts. Suzaku's heart finally eased up with the promise and didn't press the matter. But Suzaku, what do you mean by what he just said? What is the Hell Domain disappearing? Where did Father and Mother go? Can they still come back to us? Biting her thumb, the pipsqueak gets all sad and pitiful as she awaits the Phoenix Lady's explanation. Suzaku's body stiffened. Lowering her eyes in a depressed manner, she barely manages to force a smile. They merely temporarily went to another place, so don't worry, Princess. Everyone will be back very soon. Right now, I will help resolve the problem with this divine Waterstone first. Not only will it inhibit that flame inside your body, it can also turn that bead inside your heart into a lethal weapon for you in the future. A flickering light came to life inside the pipsqueak's eyes as she asked innocently, in the future, will I also become as strong as everyone? Will I be able to protect Mother and Father? Yes, when your highness is strong enough, you will be able to protect everyone as you wish. The pipsqueak finally smiled. Suzaku, okay? When I am strong, I will take second brother with me and find mother. Suzaku's heart felt so sad and almost teared up. Putting on a strong face, she leans down and changes her voice into a soothing one. Princess, this may hurt a little. Ling'er is mother's daughter. I'm not afraid of a little pain. That said, the baby princess reached up with her own hand and grabbed the lady's. Instead of being comforted, her gesture actually helped the other side. Not saying more since she knew her voice would give away her own sadness. The Phoenix lady tightly grasped onto the divine water stone and placed it over the child's chest. It's then that a force gradually seeped into Di Ling Yan's body, causing her to tremble so slightly from the pain. This would be a first for the pipsqueak to endure a prolonged form of pain. She's grown up pampered by her family. Sure, there's been occasions where she did get into a fall or a scratch on the knee, but they have always been remedied right away with medicine. Suzaku, go lighter. Little Rice stomps his feet anxiously as he sees the bead of tears seeping out of the baby's eye socket. He wants to take her place and endure the suffering right now. Highness, are you able to keep going? Suzaku asks after getting concerned as well. Heartache for her, so I can stand it. Di Ling Yan wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes and made a firm face to avoid showing scared she actually was inside. Go ahead, too. This divine water stone was brought back thanks to the efforts of her father. As such, she must endure this little trial. Her mother was waiting, and like a good daughter, it's only right she do her part. Song involuntarily furrowed her brow up over this sight. She's feeling rather useless ever since she came to the demon realm from the heavenly flame domain. Aside from eating and sleeping, what else has this once ailing girl done? Nothing, that's what. Song. Jean Tian, the little glutton, toddles over from the back with a snack still flinging around in his hand. When the boy saw his twin sister tearing up, he immediately became stunned and asked the dragoness, "What's happening with Ling Yan? She looks to be in so much pain. Why? Is it because she is hungry?" Unable to bear the uncomfortable feeling, Jean Tian tightly gripped the snack against his chest and wanted to run up and help despite not knowing what was wrong. "What are you going to do?" Song widened her eyes in shock and hurriedly grabbed the boy back. Ling Yan is crying. She is crying. Jean Tian cries out for his sister and grows sobby. "Woo, I'm going to go to my sister's side." Your sister's body encountered some problem, so Suzaku is helping her solve it. You can't go over there right now, otherwise it will disturb the process. Having said that, Song's glances back over to her friend, who's already looking rather white in the face. This only made the older girl more worried, as she too wanted to run up and help. "But my sister keeps crying," Jean Tian sobs and starts hiccuping. "It's only right that I keep her company since she's hurt." Don't assume the little glutton was clueless and rude because he likes to steal his twin sister's snack. He cares a lot about the pipsqueak, just that he doesn't show it off and out in the open. Turning around, Jean Tian didn't give the slightly older girl to stop him this time and ran towards his twin sister. Shaking her head helplessly, Song knew her words were useless now. In the end, she could only follow from behind in silence and wait. Demon Mountain. The water stone in Suzaku's palm had gradually disappeared into Ling Yan's chest by this point, and as a consequence, the baby's chest had become soaked in sweat due to the ordeal. "We're done now." She finally breathed a sigh of relief and slowly withdrew her hand. Only now did Suzaku realize her hand had gone numb during the treatment. She's been so nervous that she never dared to move an inch of her fingers. Thus the reason why it took so long for her to notice the tingling numbness. Likewise, Di Ling Yan also became overly tired and tumbled backward. Thankfully, Tsing, the dragoness, caught the child in time. "Is it over?" Di Ling Yan takes a peep by popping one of her closed eyelids before looking up with that palish contour. Suzaku nodded. "We've succeeded, princess." "That's good then," she smiles brightly. "Afterward, I will grow stronger and stronger and until my cultivation lets me find mother on my own." At the end, the little sweet bun started to whimper out with a tear river flowing out. The man inside the cave, if it weren't for the sake of finding Bai Yin, perhaps. Di Ling Yan would never have been able to withstand the pain at all. It was precisely because of her attachment to her own mother that the baby princess could be so strong. Ling Yin. Jin Tian, the little glutton, quickly toddled over and reached over with his hands to check on his twin sister. Don't cry, okay? I brought you all the good food. It's all for you. His eyes became filled with longing at the delicacies in his possession, but still stuffed it into his sitter's hand. Woo! Ling Yin was still whimpering, and the tears had soaked the ground in front. Getting upset and helpless, Jin Tian quickly turns to the Phoenix Lady for help on how to comfort his twin sister. Little Prince, Suzuka touched the glutton's head. Your sister just endured an incredible amount of pain in her body. It's okay for her to cry. Let her rest, and she will slowly come back to normal. Not quite understanding why, Jin Tian tilts his head and glances back and forth between the two girls until he finally stops at the sister. Reaching over with a hand, he stroked Di Ling Yan's hair like a good older brother for once. Linger, don't cry. Brother will be here with you. If someone hurts you in the future, brother will beat them for you, okay? Don't cry. He didn't know exactly what happened to his twin sister, but he did know something was wrong with Ling Yin and that Suzuka needed to remedy it. Woo! Throwing herself into Jin Tian's arms as she continued to weep, her tears and snot rubbed all over his clothes. I miss father, mother, and big brother. Blinking his eyes in confusion, the little glutton didn't understand why she's so sad. Didn't father and mother go out to play? They will be back very soon. Until then, I will look after you. Suzuka did not tell the two kids where Bai Yin and Di Tsong went, so they assumed the parents went out on a trip. Unfortunately, Di Ling Yin was too sharp and caught on with her clever head after Bai Xiaoqin's departure. Slightly calmer now after the cry. It's okay. I am fine now, second brother. Soon, I will go find them myself after growing as strong as big brother. Jin Tian scratched the back of his head and turned to look at Suzuka, his big eyes showing doubt and obviously not knowing what his sister meant by those words. It's just that, whenever he sees the pipsqueaks tear, the boy would instantly tense up and feel uncomfortable inside. Sister song. When Di Ling Yin turned her head, the once ailing girl from the heavenly domain had already walked behind her brother. I'm fine. Don't worry. Actually, I'm very happy. This way, I not only lifted the danger hidden within my body, I can also grow stronger at a faster rate. I'll be able to help everyone fight the bad guys together. Upon remembering what had happened to her to-be uncle, Di Ling Yan's heart would unconsciously feel a surge of sadness welling up. But more than that, the emotion of anger over state teacher's death was the biggest. Everything's going to be fine now. Suzuka wiped the sweat from her forehead due to the fatigue and turned to her companions. I need to go rest first. You three take care of the princess and prince while I'm asleep. The man inside the cave, too. After these words fell, Suzuka took one last look at the gathered people and headed straight for her abode up at the peak. Inside the lightless cave, the man who caused most of this problem raised his head slightly and burst into a brilliant grin. He's the only life here, but with those chains restraining him, the guy might as well have been dead. Divine water stone. Suddenly, a sneer came from the man's mouth as an eerie glow flickered within those eyes. It seems that the little girl's parents are indeed extraordinary. Even the divine water stone has been found by them. He clicked his tongue and grew devilishly sexier by the second, but no matter, it will be interesting to know how that girl will grow up into. Maybe my escape from this place will be entirely on her. Time flowed quickly like the water in a river stream. Since the day Di Tsong and Bai Yin left their home, 2 years had transpired with the world mostly at peace. Aside from the occasional attacks, pointed to the celestial realm by some strange force, there's not much to note. If only there was never a Yun Ruo Shi to begin with, one of the keepers groaned and uttered these words. Since the day when the truth came forward, Chu Yi God had disappeared for good from the eyes of the public, and since the strongest keepers were dead as well, no one could fight against the attackers. Keeper Yellow appears lost and dejected before speaking. Actually, this is not entirely to blame on that woman. We were also too stupid, getting deceived repeatedly by such obvious lies. If not for that, our Lord wouldn't have left us, and the celestial realm wouldn't be in this crisis. Over the years since the battle outside the city with Bai Yin, The surviving keepers had filtered through the past events in their heads and soon realized how many times they omitted the obvious signs. Even though Yin Ruo, she had ill intentions and lied. What would it matter if they themselves didn't believe her? In the end, half the fault lies with themselves who brought about this tragedy. There were prophecies back then about the celestial realm being overthrown, and now it seems the culprit is starting to show itself in the shadows. But who could be responsible for this calamity? The gray-robed keeper slowly closed his eyes in frustration, that fist trembling due to their own inability. Did the celestial palace really do wrong? No, we're not wrong. We've done everything for the sake of the world, kept the peace in order. How can we be wrong? If there's one to be at fault, it would be Yin Ruo Shi for her deception. She not only deceived us, she also gave Bai Yin those painful wounds. Just as Keeper Yellow was about to say something, a faint chuckle came from the front and caused them to stiffen up. It's a familiar voice whom they all recognized. Sure enough, a woman gradually materialized into existence from above. The man inside the cave, 3. The woman's figure gradually descends from air and lands before the old seniors huddling before the bonfire. She's flawless in the face without a single scar ever being there. Yin Ruo Shi. The name made everyone present grit their teeth in burning hatred. It's been a long time, keepers. Yin Ruo Shi snickers a smirk as she slowly came before the seniors. But it seems there are a lot less of you compared to the last time we met. What happened to Keeper Ling and Keeper Zun? Where did those two go? Let me guess, they died by Bai Yan's hand? Keeper Yellow almost couldn't breathe due to the nonchalant attitude of the old witch. In his mind, this was the greatest insult the woman could do after all the crimes she's committed thus far. If it weren't for Yin Ruo Shi, then how could Keeper Ling and Keeper Zun die? If it weren't for Yin Ruo, then how could the celestial realm fall into this decrepit state? All this is due to this woman. And now she dares to hold everyone in contempt? What? After she killed your fellow brothers and sisters, you still won't get revenge on her? Yin Ruo Shi's cheekiness was irritated to say the least because it's full of contempt in her attitude. Or do you not have the courage and become cowards? Keeper Yellow huffs a grunt and retorts, and whose fault is it that we've come to this stage? It's all because we believed in your lies. We won't make that mistake again, so you can keep your swindling words to yourself. No one here will believe anything you say. A cold glow flashed within the old witch's eye. These people don't even hate Bai Yin? If it weren't for Bai Yin, the Celestial Palace wouldn't suffer such catastrophic damage, nor would they be unable to return to their home. So why don't they hate her? Do not pin the blame on me, Keeper Yellow. I said so before. Bai Yan's existence will bring disaster to the celestial realm. Look at how things are now. How am I wrong about her and the demon realm? Another burly-looking keeper cuts in with annoyance in his voice. If the demon realm wanted to destroy the celestial realm, then they would have done so already. How are you right about her being the cause? And why not? The old witch makes it sound regrettable about what she's about to say. I don't mind telling you all the truth. The recent attacks on the celestial realm were done by my orders. I've reached the peak level of the divine lord level now. Even if Bai Yin and Ditsong comes here, they are no match for me anymore. Peak level of the divine lord? The crowd's eyes widened in shock, their gaze showing incredulous at the old witch's figure. They are well aware of Yin Ruo Shi's cultivation before. Forget about the terrible speed grew at. The old witch was clearly abolished that day by Yan's hand. Even if she did have talent, which she didn't, how could she revive her cultivation? On top of that, how could someone make such breakthroughs in a measly few years? So, Yin Run Shi's grin deepens. The reason the celestial realm will have such an end is all because of Bai Yin. If not for her, you keepers wouldn't be faced with such a misfortune, and without her, I wouldn't come to the point of wanting to destroy this realm. This is all because of her. She's the cause of all this. Ha! She laughed wildly, as if her logic was the perfect way of interpreting the crime she committed. The man inside the cave, 4. Yin Ruo Shi, you are crazy. This woman has completely gone insane with jealousy. I'm not crazy. Yin Ruo Shi regained control of her laugh and turned into hatred in those eyes. I am just stating a fact. If the celestial realm is destroyed, there's only one person you can hate, and that is Bai Yin. She is the sinner for eternity and should go down in history with infamy. Keeper Yellow and the others couldn't take this madness and distance themselves from the old witch. It's too overwhelming. If they didn't do this, the keepers feared they might get infected at this rate. Keeper Yellow, tell me, where did that crazy old coot run off to? She coldly asks. You mean by Zine? Keeper Yellow frowned. Yes, in this celestial realm. He is the only one Bai Yin cares about. I will make her feel regret and misery for the rest of her remaining life. Yun Ruo, she gritted her teeth to the point it's making a grating sound. If it weren't for the monarch not letting her go to the demon realm, the old witch would have already gone to the demon realm and settled the score with the demon queen. Bai Zine disappeared after the events of that year, so I don't know where he went. Keeper Yellow smirks derisively. If you want to find him then, I'm afraid that's not possible. He is unlikely to be in the celestial realm anymore, and the world is so big. Who knows where he went? Yun Ruo, she's eyes flashed a cold glow as she pinned the keeper with her gaze. You really don't know where that crazy old man went? Bai Yan's adopted grandfather always looked down at her before he went crazy, and no matter how hard the old witch tried to become the man's apprentice, he would refuse. As the strongest keeper back in the day, such a rejection was equivalent to a death sentence for Yun Ruo, since it proved her talent to be inferior. Ho-ho, the burly keeper sneered. That old coot hates the celestial palace to the core. Do you think he would tell us about his whereabouts? Yin Ruo, you can stop trying to swindle us. None of us holds any grudge towards Bai Yin, only regret for what we've done. If you are her enemy, you will definitely face a fate more miserable than death. Ha ha ha. After Yin Ruo, she heard this. She couldn't help but laugh wildly. It's filled with disdain and ridicule. I remember that before Bai Yan's strength had just broken through to the Divine Lord level, and now it's only been 2 years. You think she can reach the same height as I? I'm already at the peak of this world. Why would I fear anyone? So, why you people still think I'm going to lose to Bai Yin? Yin Ruo, she admits, with the backing of Heavenly Flame and Deed Song, she's no match for the three combined. However, once those 2 men are out of the equation, who could protect that woman anymore? The old burly keeper sneered again and didn't bother arguing. He doesn't know what happens to give the old witch this incredible power, but experience has told him. Even if Yin Ruo, she continues to grow, she would never defeat Bai Yin. That person always returns stronger, no matter the foe. 2 years, I didn't come here today to kill you, Yellow. I want you to watch the collapse of the celestial realm and die in despair. The corner of Yin Ruo's lips ticked upwards into a provoking curvature that left others grinding their teeth. Her very existence was annoying, but none could do anything to her at this point. Don't hate me. If you want to hate, then hate Bai Yin. From now on, I will have the celestial realm cease to exist. Every time Yin Ruo, she said one more word, Keeper Yellow and the others' hearts would shudder some more. Nevertheless, they understood the woman now stood at a height they could never reach or drag back down. You will not have a good ending, Yin Ruo. You are Bai Yan's enemy, and your fate will not be any better than ours. The burly keeper laughed wildly. Losing all composure he managed to maintain thus far. No matter how high you climb in the future, your fall will be equally as bad. By then, you will join us in the depths of hell for the crimes you've committed. The most intolerable thing for Yin Ruo in this life was someone comparing herself to Bai Yin. As such, the murderous rage instantly exploded out of the witch's face. Humph! Originally, I still wanted to let you witness the celestial realm's destruction, but now it seems that's no longer needed. Boom! As soon as she waved her hand, a force surged out and instantly slashed at the chest of the old burly man. Blood oozed from his chest and stained the robe as a result, leaving only a resentful corpse in her wake. Whoever says one more word, then this is the result. The old witch smugly smirks at the remaining keepers who were growing more outraged by the second. Power corrupts a person. In the past, she had to rely on these old fools to survive in this world, but not anymore. She now wields authority far beyond a keeper, and the lady would never let that go. Miss Ruashi, it's getting late already. We should head back. An old man had already come behind the old witch and calmly reminded her. Yin Ruo, she frowned slightly, but did not pay attention to the newcomer. Sweeping her gaze over the keepers, she speaks in a smug voice. Of course, out of consideration for the years of friendship we had, I'm willing to offer a path to salvation. As long as you kneel and beg me, I will overlook today's transgression and let you serve by my side. Dream on. Keeper Yellow's eyes erupted with rage and hate. Yin Ruo, she cackled maliciously. Then don't blame me for being ruthless. I have already given you all the chance. Elder Wu, let's go. These fools can rot in this place along with the rest of the celestial realm. Once alone again. Keeper Yellow, what should we do now? The other keepers timidly asks with nervousness. Closing his eyes for a moment, Yellow inhales deeply before answering. No matter what, the denizens of the celestial realm will never succumb to her tyranny. 2 years, too. In a sea of flowers hidden away at an isolated area of the Frost Domain, the ruler stared deeply into the horizon due to the thoughts running through his head. Willow, if I hadn't left your side back then, perhaps you wouldn't have died. I will get revenge on those who caused your death. They will pay dearly for what they've done. Closing his eyes, the girl's pretty and delicate smile surfaces in his mind like a vivid scene from the movies, causing that heart to stir wildly in love. 10,000 years. She has been gone for 10,000 years. And in those 10,000 years, I can never forget you. Once I leave this domain, I will make them all pay. With that thought in mind, the man shot open his eyes and plucked a flower from the ground. Taking a whiff, he began to imagine that wondrous love he so dearly desired to be at his side again. He couldn't help but smile again at those happy memories of his youth. Willow, if you really like Deet Song, then I will bring his body to your tombstone. He can accompany you that way for what he's done. I've sworn to always hold you dearest to my heart. So even if it means putting that scum next to you, I won't mind. Even if he loves Willow deeply, the guy's willing to fulfill her desires regardless of what they are, even if that meant hurting himself in the process. Ooh! Suddenly, a movement from the rear caused him to lapse back to reality. In a flash, he reappears in front of the intruder. Yin Ruo, she naturally froze, her complexion pale and shocked at the sudden interaction. Monarch! Monarch Frost's eyes got cold and fierce, scraping against the woman's nerve with every prolonged second of this intimating glare. Who allowed you to enter this place? He growls menacingly. Yin Ruo, she, it seems you're getting overly confident due to me spoiling your antics. Now you dare ignore my commands as well? Yin Ruo, she's body visibly shivered over that statement, her head shrinking in fear. Monarch, In the woman's mind, her existence must be special in the eye of the monarch. After all, not only did he save her and help boost her powers to this new height, the guy also allowed her to return to the celestial realm. But now that statement had entirely shattered the illusion. Frost's momentum grew even more fierce, causing a storm to form overhead. Just what? This garden is forbidden to everyone. The mere fact that you came in here is a crime. Your very existence is polluting the same air my precious Willow is in. Willow. Yin Ruo, she's heart felt stung after hearing that name again. She's tearing up and felt miserable at being second fiddle to this name. So this garden is meant for that Willow? She murmurs, the resentment hidden underneath the weeping sob. My Willow is the most outstanding woman under the heavens. Not only this garden, but the entire domain was created for her sake. I created this world for her. Frost's voice grew cold and frightening. Do you know why I am reluctant to destroy the domain and leave? It's these flowers. They were all personally planted by my precious Willow. Even her final resting place is here. 2 years, 3. Every word from the man came down with a hammer, causing immense pain and damage to that soul of this old witch. Then, Monarch, what am I to you? Yin Ruo, she asks, her eyes growing grimmer by the second. You. Frost brought a finger up to the woman's chin to raise her line of sight up to his own. You are not even worth cleaning her shoes. If you obey and remain in the estate, then I won't mind giving you all the indulgences of the world. But you never should have come into the flower garden. I won't let anyone insult my Willow." Due to the strength used by the man, the pain had started to grow on her, which in kind made the tears and emotions flow out. Bang! Without indication, Frost flicked his raised hand and blew the woman off until she crashed and landed onto a path outside the garden. All of this never once damaged the flowers here, showing how much this place represented in the man's heart. Monarch, raising her head, the old witch wanted to beg for mercy until she saw that threatening man drawing closer and closer. Out of panic, she squirmed backward out of reflex. "Yin Ruo Shi, you deserve to die for your sins." Rumble. Frost moved again, sending a force so strong this time that it made the old witch shoot out a stream of blood in her wake from the impact. "I know my fault. I really know my fault. Please, Monarch, please forgive me this one time. I won't ever dare again." There's no illusion the man would kill her. Those murderous eyes are too real without a hint of fogginess in them. Unfazed by the pleading, Frost grabbed the wretched woman off from the dirt by the collar and raised her up to eye level. "Yin Ruo Shi, everything you have today is given by me. If I can bestow upon the strength you have, then I can take it away equally as easy. Do not test me. I won't mind returning you to the past and personally handing you over to the demon realm. I'm sure they would love to get their hands on you. If it weren't for the celestial heart, he never would have kept this woman alive. After all, anyone who dares to intrude upon his precious flower garden doesn't deserve to exist." Yin Ruo, she bit her lip so tightly there that it started to bleed. She's resentful but fearful at the same time, the latter being the dominant emotion. Returning to the past was something she could never afford. Also, don't be delusional and compare yourself with my Willow. The man seemingly brought up the picture of that bright and delicate woman again in his mind, thus causing his stern expression to soften up. "She is different from you. Your kindness is a disguise, while her good is true and genuine. I once saw her risk her own life to save a pup. In that moment, that smile was so bright and beautiful that I could never forget. I swore from that day forward I would safeguard that light." 2 years before encountering Willow, Frost never thought he would fall in love with a woman at first sight. Unfortunately, the woman he likes only has an eye for another man. He wants to protect her smile and happiness, and he wants to help her get the man. Unexpectedly, their plan failed, and Willow ended up getting drunk and sleeping with him. If Willow didn't take the initiative, then Frost wouldn't have violated her. But as a normal man, how could he control that desire in the face of his love? So that's why things that shouldn't have occurred happened. Frost closed his eyes, and what came to his mind at this moment was the figure of Willow angrily departing. Back then, he tried to step forward and pull her into his arms to stop it, but in the end, he couldn't do it and allowed that tragedy to transpire. It's their last and final farewell. When he opened his eyes again, Frost's killing intent had now grown so intense that it's manifested into a cold glint. "Monarch, I really know I'm wrong. I won't dare to do it again." Yin Ruo, she's little face had gone deathly white, the fear fully apparent in that trembling voice. In the past 2 years, the old witch never truly got over Chewy God. After all, that man was someone she crushed on for 1,000 years. There's no way her emotions could just be wiped away like that. However, the heart was a mysterious thing. After repeated kind gestures and misunderstandings, Yin Ruo, she had believed Monarch Frost truly liked her, thus slowly winning her heart over. But now, that swaying heart was once again crushed under those hurtful words, thus waking her up from that dream. Scram! Frost coldly snaps, throwing the woman's body out again for the 3rd time with a flick of a finger. Yin Ruo, she couldn't resist at all under that omnipotent strength. Crashing into a puddle of mud, she painfully coughs up more blood while scurrying away for safety. Frost didn't pity the woman in the slightest as he retracted his attention. He only has the flower garden in his mind. "Willow, this piece of pure land was given to me by your own hand, so I won't let anyone come pollute it." After escaping the garden, Yin Ruo, she eventually stopped behind a boulder to regain her breath. She's resentful and felt her blood boiling while staring off into the distant flower field. Why? Why should I bend my back just to plead for a shred of power and status? Bai Yin never had to do anything for hers. Yin Ruo, she's heart flared with jealousy. She married the king of the demon realm, and the lord of the celestial realm loves her. She is everything that I don't have. Why is it always like this? I do everything just to get a shred of dignity, yet others can have everything just because they were born with a golden spoon? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. 2 years, 5. Bai Yin, I will surpass you. Even if my background is not as good as yours, but I will crush you with my strength. I will crush all your pride and make you kneel on the ground to me. The anger in Yin Ruo Shi's heart had already made her entire existence corrupted. Without looking back in the direction of the flower garden, the old witch turned away and disappeared off into the afternoon sun. There's determination and conviction in her eyes. Flower garden. Frost had one hand behind his back as he strolled through the predetermined path. Willow, wait for me. I have found a way to break the sea. Once I do, I can finally avenge you. I will make those who have hurt you pay the price one by one. A cold glow flashed from Frost's eyes as he looked up to the blue sky. Slowly turning around, he walked in the direction in where he came from after that internal vow. In the elder's wing of the Monarch Manor, many seniors were already sitting in wait for the lord and master of this domain. When they saw the guy step through the door, they immediately stood up to make a respectful bow. Monarch, you are here. Still cold in his eyes, Frost nodded indifferently. What happened to the things I ordered you all to do? Rest assured, Monarch, we have already brought you what you want. When do you wish to start? Back then, Heavenly sealed all the domains using his own flesh and body as the eye. So, to break it means finding the body and destroying it. That took more than 10,000 years, but now he's done it. At the beginning, I thought Heavenly's body would be hidden within a domain, so I've scoured every domain I could find. But I never thought he would have the gals to hide his body within the celestial realm. A cold glow flashed in Frost's eyes as he continued. But no matter, nothing can stop me anymore. The time is upon us, my dear elders. Advance to the celestial realm and crush that wretched body once and for all. Yes, Monarch, the Heavenly Flame domain. In the study, Heavenly sat hovering in front of his desk as the faint glow of the energy circulating around his body. He's trying to make a breakthrough, but the sweat on his forehead says it's not going well. Husband, are things going smoothly? Bai Ning stood beside her husband and appeared worried. She's nervous and concerned for his well-being. Halfway through, the man suddenly shot open his eyes and took a blow to his internal organs. I failed again. The guy makes a bittersweet smile as he activates his power for recovery. Even though he had returned after regaining his memory, the strength he held during his prime state hasn't. If he doesn't make a breakthrough, then he won't be able to leave the domain. You don't have to rush. Take your time. Bai Ning took out a handkerchief and gently wiped the sweat from his forehead. Ning Heavenly grabs onto his wife's hand and smiles warmly. I know your meaning, but recently I've been getting this restless feeling lately. I don't know what, but my instinct is telling me something big is about to happen. On top of that, the seal around the other domains is weakening. If I don't improve my powers soon, something terrible might happen. 2 years, 6. He only needed 1 foot into the next stage to enter the true celestial level. At that point, the seal he created would be useless and could no longer trap him. Yin Feng, is there something you're not telling me? Bai Ning's eyebrows slightly furrowed as she questioned her husband. When I sealed all the major domains, I used my body as the medium. That's why I never told you, or Yenner. As long as those people find my previous body, they will be able to break the seal. Heavenly's face grew grim after bringing up the topic. It's a shame. My powers were limited back then, so the best I could do was seal those monarchs. The sealing technique he knew 10,000 years ago was an incomplete product. It's only capable of sealing certain individual soul. That's to say, he sealed the monarchs and nothing more. To achieve such a feat, he had fought against every monarch he knew to collect a part of their souls. Then, by infusing that fragment into his own body, the guy created a perennial spell that's tuned specifically to those monarchs. As for the rest of the population in the domains, they're unrelated, hence their ability to leave and enter as they pleased. Likewise, the seal also affects Heavenly himself, since his body acted as the eye for the spell. If he had forcibly shattered the spell using brute strength right now, who would defend the main worlds? He's not a true celestial anymore. That meant the monarchs would go on a rampage like in the past. Bai Ning's face turned pale. You mean if those people managed to find your former body, then they would be able to break the seal? Yes, said Heavenly with a bittersweet smile. To hide my flesh back then, I deliberately hid it at a corner of the celestial realm. But after so long, even I don't know where my former body is anymore. Yin Feng. Bai Ning nervously grasped onto the man's sleeve as the pacing of her breath grew faster. Does this mean Yin'er and Di Song will be in trouble if those people can leave the domains? She hadn't forgotten their daughter also had enemies in the domains. If those monarchs could escape the seal and come out, the consequences would be dire. I'm leaving the domain. Bai Ning bit her lips so hard that it made her bleed. Tell me the place you hid your body. Even if the landscape changed, I will at least have a head start before the enemy makes a move. I won't let them break the seal. Ning'er, it's too dangerous. Heavenly's heart trembled, and he quickly grabbed Bai Ning's hand to stop her. Even if you do manage to learn of my former body's whereabouts, you alone can't do anything. The number of monarchs back then may not be large, but there were many of their subordinates who were close to that level in the past. Those unrestricted by the seal will surely come in force and easily overwhelm you. It will be you up against tens of thousands of foes. Absolute strength was a must in enforcing law and order, but the weak also had their advantages in numbers. It's also the reason why the guy went after the heads instead of the entire body of the beast. 2 years, 7. I can't care about those details. Yin Feng, Yin'er is my life. I can't let her be in danger. Bai Ning's eyes flickered with determination. Besides, you said so yourself, those monarchs aren't able to leave the domains. If it's just their subordinates, I have full confidence in overcoming any hurdle. I will not let them threaten our daughter. As a mother, the safety of her child always stood at first place. Heavenly tightly held grip around his wife's hand gradually loosened. All right, I can agree to let you go, but I also have a request. You must bring the masters here with you. Bai Ning made a shocked face. But if I do that, then who's going to defend the Heavenly Flame domain? What if the other domains send their forces here to attack? First, the guy smiles proudly. I am my own protection. I do not need others to protect me. If they dare come then, I will make sure they never leave. Secondly, Yin'er is also my life too. I can't allow you to be in danger to protect her in my stead. This is the most I'm willing to compromise. They have been separated for a very long time, so this was the least he could endure. What if the same tragedy occurs because he couldn't leave? If that happens, the guy couldn't even begin to imagine what he would do. Okay. Bai Ning smiled softly as her slender fingers caressed the guy's handsome face. Yin Feng, when I come back, I will bring Yin'er back with Di Song. Go then. Heavenly slowly got up and led the way out of the study. I will send you out of the domain. But afterwards, you must pay attention to your own safety. Meanwhile, within the demon realm, Di Ling, Yin, the pipsqueak, sat dully atop of a boulder, her former energetic self long gone due to the past 2 years. Ling Yin, holding a plate of osmanthus cake in his hand, Jean Tian, the little glutton, hurriedly ran over to offer his twin sister the snack. I brought some cake over, try some. Glancing over to the plate of dessert, the girl shook her head at the kind gesture. I don't want any to eat. But, with tears slowly forming around the eyes at the rejection, the brother suddenly found his appetite waning. Ling Yin only knows how to train now. You haven't played with me for a very long time. Also, I made these cakes on my own. I really don't want to eat. Ling Yin jumps off from the boulder and pats her dress. It's getting late. I should go back to training. After saying this, the pipsqueak headed towards the Demon Mountain's peak. Ever since the princess fused with the divine Waterstone a few years ago, her strength had indeed risen rapidly. And because of this, she's been keeping herself hidden atop of the mountain every day without doing anything else. Sister Song, what happened to my sister? Jean Tian pouted with a sad face and turned to the older girl that came back from the Heavenly Flame domain. Did I do something to make her unhappy? I can change myself if she smiles again. Woman in white wanna hungry, he said somewhat weakly. Song couldn't help but laugh out loud over that confession. Lowering her body down, she gently pats his head to show it's all right. Finally know you're hungry? Her Highness the Queen won't let you eat too much because she's afraid your stomach cannot bear it. She never mentioned anything about letting you go without food. Hold on, I will take you to find some food. Raising her hand to lift the fox up, the girl's face was all smiles until she shot a glance backward. Song's still worried about her friend the pipsqueak, but there's nothing the girl could do aside from making sure the twins are eating well and sleeping well. At this moment, Bai Yin was still floating in the darkness while being able to hear her son and husband's voices. But no matter how hard the Demon Queen tried, she just couldn't open her eyes. Why? Why can't I move? Why can't I make a sound? If this continues, I might stay like this forever in this vegetative state. No, I can't. I need to get out of here. Ling Yin and Jean Tian is still waiting for us at home. Just when she's desperately trying to move her body, a voice suddenly echoes into her soul and shocks her. You've come. Bai Yan's heart trembled due to not locating the source. Who are you? Suddenly, a white light shot into existence from the darkness and lit up the darkness in her mind. It's a woman wearing a pristinely white dress. She had absolute beauty like Bai Yin herself, but unlike the strong and demanding characteristics of the Demon Queen, this female had more of a flowing river charm that enticed the opposite sex with her gracefulness. Actually, I am you, and you are me. The woman in white slowly came towards her new incarnation and grinned mischievously. Before I entered into the cycle of rebirth, I already foresaw my future. I should have 3 lives before our meeting. From what I can see, you should be my 3rd reincarnation, correct? 3 rebirths? Bai Yin narrowed her eyes and skeptically until she saw the resemblance. During my travels, I have come across a statue of a woman being worshipped by a group of demonic beasts. Is it you displayed in that cave and portrait? The woman in white chuckles at the question. Yes and no. I am indeed that woman you saw in those depictions, but not this version you see before yourself. That life didn't meet my demand in talent or intellect, nor did the second life that came afterward. Then came you. You see, I foresaw our future and knew what could happen, so I made arrangements. A humph. I'm starting to ramble here. I'll get to the point. Technically, that is me, but also you in all aspects. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Woman in white, too. Therefore, the figures inscribed on those statues should not be me, but you. The woman's words echoed over and over again in Bai Yan's head. Like a thunderclap, the explosion causes the Demon Queen to lose the ability to think. Are you me? Bai Yan was stunned and continued to ask, do you have a vendetta against the demon realm? The woman in white turned to face Bai Yan and softly chuckled. Demon realm? You're talking about the demon clans, right? Now the demon clan has changed its name to Demon Realm. I do have a vendetta against the demons. No, wait. It should be said, this is a war between humans and demons. It doesn't matter. These things have nothing to do with me anymore. I have long ceased to exist in this world. All you see here is but a remnant of my soul left behind to help you ascend to the level of a true celestial. True? Celestial? Bai Yin sneered and curved her lips sarcastically. Since you were so powerful, then why did you fall? The woman in white made a stunned face over the question before turning embarrassed. The reason will be clear to you in the future, and it is not convenient for me to say it for the time being. Bai Yin saw the other her didn't want to tell the truth, so she didn't dig deeper. After a muse, she continues, Then tell me what this place is, and why did you leave a remnant of your soul here? This space is a special pocket in reality frozen in stasis. It doesn't matter how long or who stays here. Your age will never change. Let's say a baby comes inside. They will remain a baby in its infancy stage even after 1,000 years. There will be no changes to their physical body, which is the reason why I used it to house myself. If it's any other place, you think this fragment of ourselves would survive this long? I would have disappeared long ago and be unable to meet you. The woman in white sighed softly. Perhaps the time had rubbed the edge off of her soul, but this woman in white didn't have the sharp edge that the statues portrayed inside the cave and portrait. Instead, there's peace and serenity between those eyes. Then how do I reach the true celestial rank? Bayan went straight for the problem after getting the gist of things. She's no longer so calm anymore, because something just clicked in her head. What if the demon chief who planted that peach blossom forest is Deetsong's older incarnation? I got reborn 3 times already according to this soul fragment. What are the odds that Deetsong followed me as well by entering the life cycle? Bayan had a lot of questions about this matter still. For example, why did this woman in white want to step on top of the demon clans of old when the demon chief clearly loved her dearly, like how Deetsong loves her in this life? You will still need to work hard to reach the true celestial stage. However, I don't have much strength left, at most able to help you reach the middle level of the Divine Lord stage. The rest will be up to you. The woman in white paused for a moment and continued. After you reach the peak level of the Divine Lord stage, you will need to acquire an external force for help. There's this red flaming bead. If you can attain this item, your body will naturally find its way to a breakthrough. Flaming bead? Bai Yin made a stunned face, because the name immediately brought her to the thought of Di Ling Yan's condition. There's a flaming bead inside her daughter's heart. As for here, you don't have to worry. I will use the last of my strength to help you shatter the restraint. Don't blame me for taking so long to come. Although time has stopped in this pocket of reality, but its territory is very large, and that's how hard it was to find you despite my efforts. Woman in white 3, hold on. Bai Yin presses for information regarding the flaming bead after seeing the other her disappearing. Unfortunately, the woman in white had already returned to a globe of light after her words and shot in her body. In the darkness, Deetsong had been hugging Bai Yan's body with an iron grasp during the whole time. He's worried she would disappear from his world if he lost a single strand of hair from his wife. Suddenly, a ray of light emanated from within the woman's body, instantly turning into a pillar of light and pouring upwards to illuminate the darkness. Father, Bai Xiaochen nervously grabbed Bai Yan's sleeve and asked, "What's happening?" Mother, Deetsong frowned and didn't respond. Instead, his sight locked onto the woman's body over the changes. Lower Divine Lord, Middle Divine Lord. The forced breakthroughs directly allowed Bai Yin to reach the middle level of the Divine Lord stage, as per that soul fragment said. Deetsong, Xiaochen, fluttering her eyelids, the demon queen's consciousness slowly comes to and saw the 2 males that she so dearly loved. Subsequently, Bai Yin didn't wait and raised that pair of arms to wrap around the man's neck, letting their body and warmth to mingle together. "Yinner, you're back." Deetsong's large hand gently wrapped around her back to comfort both himself and his wife. These days, he could sense Bai Yan's presence, but that doesn't mean the ordeal wasn't any less stressful. "Mother." The steam bun flew into a yippee jump of joy and threw himself at his mother's tummy. "What happened before? How come you didn't answer me when I called?" "You scared me to death, Mother." "I heard everything you were saying, Xiaochen. It's just that I couldn't respond to you before." Bai Yin apologetically caressed her son's head because she understood how much worry she had caused. While the family was having their well-deserved reunion, the light had grown so strong that it had encompassed every corner within the visible view. Clack! A crisp cracking sound abruptly interrupted their hug and caught the family's attention. Bai Yan's heart tightened and quickly wrapped her arms around the steam bun's body before scanning the area vigilantly. It's at this point that her expression froze in shock. Reason? The snowy white sky overhead had started to shatter with veins forming in all directions. In a mere 15 minutes, the crack had expanded to the level of allowing some of the broken shards above to fall. Then, only then could they see the crisp blueness that they are so familiar with. Mother! Baishachin's small little mouth made a big round shape. Can we finally leave? Uh-huh. Baiyin softly confirms the idea by gently nodding. Unfortunately, we don't have a concept of time here. Who knows how much time had transpired outside? Maybe 100 years have already passed for your siblings. Baiyan's heart shook with horror at the idea. She didn't want to believe that was possible, but it was a possibility she couldn't ignore. Baishachin was equally as stunned by her words. Then quickly looking up to face his mother's gaze, "Mother, what do you mean by that? How come I can't understand?" Without hesitation, the Demon Queen went into great detail on what her previous incarnation had told her about this world and herself. She did not withhold any information. Woman in white, Baishachin's small face instantly turned white as soon as she said that. Mother, father, what if 100 years had passed? Wouldn't that make Ling Yin older than me? Will I have to call her my big sister instead? What if a thug comes along and snatch her away by taking advantage of my young age? The thought of a little fart coming along and stealing his sister from right under his nose immediately unsettled the steam bun. He couldn't accept that. Let's go back and see. Baiyin also had a worried face. Who knows? We might have only been gone for a few months. Really, Baishachin nearly started crying due to the nervousness he had inside. Will Ling Yin still run up to me and call me big brother? Will Jean Tian still cluelessly do as I say? Let's leave. Baiyin did not answer Baishachin's words further due to how grim she felt inside as well. How could I have let Ling Yin and Jean Tian alone for so long? What kind of life did they have if that much time did pass? I'm a terrible mother. Don't worry. Ditsong placed an arm around his wife's shoulder and smiled reassuringly. You need to have more confidence in yourself, Yen'er. We would never have stayed here for that long. Sure enough, that managed to warm the lady's heart somewhat. I hope so. Otherwise, I won't be able to bear the consequences of abandoning those my darlings. Finally able to follow his parents' conversation, Baishachin sniffs and holds back his own tears to act confidently. That's right, Mother. Me and Father never would have allowed us to stay here for that long. Let's go home. I also miss everyone. Maybe Dragoni and Auntie are home as well and waiting for us. Okay, let's go home, the place where everyone is. That said, Baiyin looked up to the familiar blue sky and felt a flame of hope burning within herself again. The Celestial Realm. Outside the Celestial Palace, a dense crowd of invaders had descended from the void and come before the main gate. The few guards who remained to defend this palace were naturally frightened at the massive force gathered at their doorstep, especially when they managed to grasp the enemy's power, which was far beyond their own. You people, who are you? The most veteran of the defenders stepped forward despite his own nervousness. He's having trouble keeping a firm grip on the sword with his shaky hands. Leave none alive. The old man leading the invasion force coldly orders, not batting an eyelash over the question. Under the dark clouds, blood stained the walls of the sacred grounds of the palace, eliminating all life that once dwelled here and echoing a scream of terror in the air. Elder Een, Heavenly Flame's body, should be inside the altar here. A young-looking spy stepped over and respectfully reports. According to the information we've gathered, these people do not know what's hidden under there, so no one had ever disturbed the coffin. Elder Een sneered in contempt at the few defenders who are still resisting. These people are foolish indeed. They had such a treasure right under their feet and never knew it. Finish them quickly. We will head inside first. Yes, Elder. With that order, the rest of the assaulting force promptly streamed into the palace, slaying everyone and everything in sight. It didn't matter if the residents were children or women. None got spared on this tragic day. Heavenly's body, 1. The altar of the Celestial Palace was considered the most mysterious place in all of the Celestial Realm. In fact, not even the keepers themselves knew what this sacred spot meant to the world. All they knew was that because of the altar's existence, the Celestial Palace was able to grow by leaps and bounds to become the #1 power. Deep in the altar, An ancient coffin similar to a sarcophagus of the Western style laid there silently. It's giving off the impression of those resting tombs hidden in those old catacombs under a church. However, unlike the decrepit state that one would expect of something old, this one had been sealed tight with no room for air to seep in. Apparently, no one had ever thought to open it since its inception, despite the constant stream of energy radiating out from the surface. "Open it. We will destroy Heavenly's body." Elder Ian waved his hand and commanded in a cold voice. "Yes, Elder." After hearing this, the spy in charge of information gathering stepped over and slammed down with his fist. It made a loud impact, but the sarcophagus remains intact and spotless. Elder Ian frowned at this sight. "Get out of the way. I'll do it myself." The spy hurriedly gave way, afraid his hesitation would enrage the old senior. Unlike the youth who couldn't make a dent, Elder Ian was someone much stronger in terms of power. By gathering all of his energy into the palm, the very air around the room had warped when smashing down. Despite the incredible force, the results were the same, albeit with a heavier tremor in the room. Nothing's changed. "It seems even I can't open this coffin with my strength." Elder Ian smugly smirked. "Everyone who is at the demi-divine lord level come assist me. We must pry open this thing." "Yes, Elder." Without delay, all of the masters who came to participate in this invasion had stepped over and surrounded the coffin. Elder Ian took a deep breath before making a solemn expression. "Okay, let's start now. The plan is to converge all of our power onto one point and make a breakthrough. The seal will naturally shatter once a hole is made. He must determine whether the corpse inside was Heavenly Flame's body." At this moment, all of the demi-divine lords began gathering their powers onto a single point in the middle of the sarcophagus. It's suffocating for anyone unable to bear this heavy atmosphere, forcing the subordinates to flee the room before they die under this weight. Boom! A loud roar resounded across the sky, and the lid, which had been firmly immobile, was finally overturned under their assault. There's a man silently slumbering there. Handsome, yet proud in his contour. Indeed, this was a man of high stature without doubt, just that he's been dead for who knows how long based on that pale complexion. There's no mistake, this body is indeed Heavenly's. Elder Yin's pupil tightly sharpened on that face and grinned darkly upon, confirming the features. If his body gets destroyed, does that mean the seal around the domains is gone? Another mutters without directing it to anyone. Does that mean the conquest of the main worlds is upon us? Perhaps it's the wonderful image of their future, but some of the demi-divine lords were already laughing wildly like some evil villain from those typical movies. They have been staying inside the Frost domain for who knows how long. They've long grown tired of such a life. Now the time to conquer and taste the fruit was upon them, so how could they not be happy? Aye, Heavenly's body, too. Elder Ian bellied out a cocky laugh at the grand future awaiting their forces. "Move aside, all of you. I will destroy Heavenly's body right now, and the seal blocking the monarch's return to this world will come undone." The corners of his lips drew a devilish grin as he stared down at the corpse in the coffin. Then, with a flick of his palm, a flame materializes into existence in preparation for his attack. However, right as the reddish flame was about to touch the clothes, a figure suddenly breaks through the fabric of reality and slices down to get in between him and the body. "Who are you?" Elder Yin's expression flew into a rage as he yelled at the interloper. This woman's strength is at the peak of the demi-divine lord level, and just a step away from being a divine lord like the monarchs as well. I won't win if I fight her here alone. I am Heavenly's wife, and you wanted to destroy my husband's body from his previous life without my consent. The woman's shallow smile and disdainful glare swept across the group. Heavenly's wife? The faces of Elder Ian and his subordinates all got very ugly. They had heard rumors that Heavenly already had a wife before this, but they didn't expect the woman to be so strong. "Girl, your strength is very strong, I admit that. Unfortunately, you only have those from the Heavenly Flame domain to back you up, while we have multiple forces at our beck and call. You think you can overcome us all today? Don't be ridiculous." The old man sneered, and his eyes were full of contempt. I advise you to step aside and go back to your husband. Otherwise, don't blame us for not showing mercy and pity against a woman. The fact that I came today means I have no intentions of going back empty-handed. I can leave, but that's only with my husband's body. Bai Ning smiled indifferently as she made her stance. Elder Een narrowed his eyes as he went over his options. I have already given you a chance, but you did not cherish it, so don't blame us. Even Heavenly could not stop all of the domains by himself. What do you think you can do with only that much ability? As Elder Een spoke, countless noises could faintly be heard coming from the far-off horizon, which quickly came close enough to show the massive army gathered for this invasion. Yin Feng was right. They brought a massive army with them. Even so, I won't back down. Madam, everyone who came with Bai Ning from the Heavenly Flame domain quickly gathered around the lady's location, their stance circling into a defensive position with the lady at center. We will deal with these people. You leave with the monarch's body first. Bai Ning shook her head to refute the idea. That's not possible. I won't be able to escape on my own. Don't worry about me. I am Heavenly's wife. I have a duty to protect my husband's body from the previous life. Heavenly's body, 3. Due to how densely populated the sky had become like a flock of crows flying in the air, all of the normal denizens closest to the epicenter were looking up towards the celestial palace with fear and uncertainty of what the future holds. Because of this, Keeper Yellow and his brothers didn't need to look very far to know what's happening. On top of that, the immense pressure could reach them all the way back in the mountains where they were hiding. What's going on? Why are there so many demi-divine lords over at the Celestial Palace's direction? Keeper Yellow's expression got deathly white due to the fears circulating within his heart. It's likely those bastards from the domains. Keeper Yellow, how long are we going to keep hiding here like this? If those people want to hunt us, then that's fine. We can always move to a new spot. But they're slaughtering the entire celestial realm. We can't keep being cowards like this while everyone dies. One of the keepers cried tears of blood at the scene. Keeper Yellow felt just as bad. Ever since they lost Keeper Ling and Keeper Zun that day outside the city, the group has become dispirited and lost on the next path forward. Let's go back to the Celestial Palace. Keeper Yellow grits his teeth fiercely and finally made the decision. We absolutely cannot let the celestial realm fall today. Even if we die, we will die fighting. I've done so many wrong things in the past. I can't cower now when the crisis is upon us. Otherwise, what was the point of us existing up to this point? After having similar thoughts, the keepers all charged out of the mountain in which they had lived for the past few years. It's now or never, and they choose to fight. When arrived outside the palace, a scene of carnage welcomed their eyes. Bodies, blood, organs, it's truly a scene out of hell itself. It seems those bastards did attack the Celestial Palace. They slaughtered everyone, women and children alike. Closing his eyes, Keeper Yellow makes a pained face due to not coming earlier and allowing this carnage to occur. Go! We will confront the enemy. Without wasting time, these old seniors that oversaw the safety of the celestial realm for all these years stepped through the main gates for the inner sanctums. They're determined and would gladly sacrifice themselves as brave warriors. Bloodstained altar. More and more enemies were swooping down from the sky and attacking Bai Ning after she arrived on the scene earlier. She's exhausted after fighting alone for so long. But whenever her body was ready to collapse from depletion, the images of her husband and daughter would always reinvigorate her spirit for another swing. This was the scene that Keeper Yellow and the others saw after they arrived. It's bloody with bodies skewered along the ground. You bastards, how dare you lot defile the Celestial Palace's altar? At the beginning, the Celestial Palace never was this powerful and stood at the very top. Rather, it was a member of their order that accidentally came across the ancient coffin and discovered training beside. It would exponentially increase one's cultivation speed. Heavenly's body, for it was precisely because of the existence of the ancient coffin that brought the great fortune to the Celestial Palace. So, it doesn't take much to imagine the anger erupting from his heart after seeing someone destroy their faith. Hold on, Keeper Yellow. One of the keepers grabbed the senior and shook his head. Don't you see that woman Bai Ning is also here? We don't know who destroyed the altar, so let's wait and see. Humph. Keeper Yellow promptly breaks away that hand and grumpily replied, no matter who it is that destroyed the altar, we must first deal with those from the domains. How many innocent civilians died at their hands? How many families were destroyed because of them? Besides, if Bai Ning wanted to destroy the altar, then she could have done so long ago when she attacked the Celestial Palace. Why do it now, before so many foes? It must be said, for all the mistakes he made in the past, Keeper Yellow finally made a smart choice for once. After he dropped these words, his figure had already disappeared in a flash and landed in front of Bai Ning's location. Raising an eyebrow at the sudden interruption, Bai Ning skeptical examines the person before recognizing who it was. It's you? You're done being a coward now? What are you doing here? Turning to face the woman, the keeper's figure appeared so weak and frail as that yellowish robe fluttered with the wind. Lady Bai Ning, I know that you do not want to see any of us from the Celestial Palace, but for now, I hope you could put aside our difference and work together to confront these enemies. It's our only chance. Bai Ning did not speak for a good while, her gaze quickly scanning back and forth between the two forces. Ha! Elder Een sneered humorously. No matter how many people comes today, the ending will be the same, with Heavenly's body destruction. No one can stop us. Keeper Yellow's expression grew fierce and ferocious after hearing that. I knew it. It's you bastards who ruined the faith of the Celestial Palace. I will never let you go. Without delay, the senior jumped and rushed at the enemy leader who had just spoken. Not to be caught off guard, Elder Yin's hand was already in wait as he grinned triumphantly. He's been waiting for this moment after deliberately provoking the keeper. With a gush of energy blade shot out from his palm, Yin got a direct hit into the other person's body. Yet, instead of the expected collapse and blood-splattering hole, Keeper Yellow endures the damage and regains his momentum in the next second to come before Elder Yin's face. He's a damn cockroach in how durable that body behaves. You're also from the Heavenly Flame domain. Elder Een dodged a retaliatory blow and quickly slipped to the side. No, Keeper Yellow's attack did not stop. I am a member of the Celestial Palace, the ones you slaughtered like cattle here today. I will never let you bastards off the hook for what you've done. Ha ha! Elder Een laughed wildly. Just with you? You are no more than a mid-level demi-divine lord. Why would you think you can overcome our forces? You're no more than an ant in my eye. Pitiful insect. Boom. This time, Elder Een did not hold back and unleashed a barrage of punches with his fist, landing blow after blow on a Keeper Yellow's chest. Finally unable to take it, the old keeper spurted out a mouthful of blood and turned deathly pale. Lady Bai Ning, although we have had a dispute in the past, but this time, can I ask you for a favor? He wiped the blood from the corners of his mouth, turned to face the woman behind himself. He's praying for her to accept his request. Bai Ning was stunned for a bit before stopping her own attack to face the swaying old man. What favor?